Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Business Spotlight, the podcast where we shine a light on the incredible entrepreneurs and business owners in our community. I'm your host, Craig Wipperman, with Music City Action Coach, and today we're excited to introduce to you someone who is blazing a trail in financial services here in Nashville. Our guest today is Rob Vlach, who recently started out on his own and has begun and founded Clarity Capital here in Nashville. We'll dive into Rob's entrepreneurial journey, explore the challenges he's faced, excuse me, and the successes he's celebrated. Whether you're a fellow entrepreneur, an aspiring business owner, or simply someone who loves to support local businesses, this conversation is sure to inspire and inform. So without further ado, let's welcome Rob Vlach into the show. Rob, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great, Craig. Thank you. Hey, thanks for having me here. This is really exciting. Glad to be a part of your show. It's really it's great here. Nice to see you.
Yeah, well, it's great to see you too, and to meet you virtually, of course. So I gave you a little bit of background on what we try to do on the show. We're picking out people of interest that my community would have interest in hearing from, and of course, you being the founder of your most recent company, well, of the most recent company you've been employed in. It's your first founding, right?
Yes, that's right. Yep.
Yeah, and then we'll learn a little bit about how you came to taking the dive or taking the leap out on your own. So just take a minute and tell us about yourself and what it is you're doing.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I mean, a little background on myself. I've been here in Nashville for off and on since 2008, and just fell in love with the place and had to moved around a little bit in the corporate world and eventually made my way back here. I'm a devoted Christian husband to my wife Meg, who will be 21 years. We'll be celebrating this Friday. That has gone by very quickly, and got four kids here. All of them still at home. Oldest is in high school, going off to college next year. Youngest is still down in grade school in fourth grade. So it's just a lot of excitement around this household all the time. Just really happy to be a part of what you're doing here, a part of the business community in Nashville, and this has just been a really exciting time for me.
Great. Well, so you came to Nashville in 2008. Where did you relocate from?
Oh yeah, so funny story. I was in a small town called Peoria, Illinois, kind of in the
Mhm.
middle of the state. It's a very much an agricultural community, and then you've got in the middle of all that was Caterpillar's corporate headquarters. And so I got synced up with Cat right after my business school venture there, and it was just a phenomenal place, and had a chance to get into their treasury world and get really dig into some numbers and do some amazing things. And then when I got tapped on the shoulder and asked if I wanted to move to Nashville, I don't think they had the full sentence out of their mouth before I was saying yes, let's go do this. And it was it was a neat experience. I came down here. It was about a week before the big crash of 2008, with all the financial markets going sideways and so forth. And I recall it vividly because my new role here was to basically work in their treasury space, and had gone from a very kind of methodical, just almost routine type of processes and those things that we were doing onto what felt like a kind of a chaotic fire drill for a few months time there to welcome me here. But we've just fallen in love with the community and the people, and just a great place to be.
Yeah. So had you ever been to Nashville before you came down with the job?
I would say the only time I would have stopped may have been on my way from Chicago area where I grew up to Florida, at one, getting off at one of the interstate rest stops, or here filling up at one of the stations. But no, I'd never really spent any time in Nashville. Didn't know much about the town actually, so I learned a lot when I got here, and it was an instant love that I had for the area and the people.
Yeah. So we used to live in Franklin from about 95 to 2005 or so. And I used to think, because I used to travel around the country and come back. I actually, traveled outside the country and would come back and think, man, this is the best kept secret. Nobody knows about this cool little place called Nashville. And then, it didn't take too long. I don't think in 2008, because we left in 2004. 2008, I think it was still kind of a secret, right? The Titans had been playing here, but
Yeah.
and then the Predators came in 01 or so. But man, uh, I don't know. Probably it was like what 16 or 17. And it seemed like was the big boom. Does that sound right?
Yeah. We were, from what I'd seen here, it's just been kind of a steady crawl from, that kind of '05 time frame when you left, on up to, almost like a hockey stick curve, an exponential
Hmm.
curve we've experienced here over the last couple of years, especially. I mean,
Hmm.
COVID was the big hitter that is still driving people. I still see a lot of out-of-state license plates driving around in the area, knowing that they're probably picking up these new homes that they're building all around us. So you're absolutely right. The secret is out. It's an amazing town, and the hope is that some of the small town kind of charm and kind of personal, just again the people, just the southern hospitality, and that coming from the north was just absolutely loved it. And hope that we can retain some of that. I do believe we can, because it seems like really good people that are coming here, and the people that want to also experience the things that we love.
Yeah, well, there's one good thing about the people coming here. It's they want to get out of the places that they're coming from for a reason. And
Hmm.
hopefully it's because they want to be in a cool place and
Yeah, yeah,
not mess it up. And of course,
yeah,
anytime you go through explosive growth, it's really tough to manage the growth, and we're going to have to figure out as a community how to manage that. But I'm right there with you. It's an awesome place, and I really wouldn't want to live anywhere else, to be quite honest with you. But
yeah.
so tell me about Clarity Capital, and well, you know what? Let's explore a little bit of your background in finance, because
Sure.
your whole career has been in finance, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
And yeah, and so you talked about your role as treasury in
Hmm.
treasury. But this what you're doing now is far from that, I think, right? It's kind of creatively, solving businesses solutions from a financial perspective. How did you make your way into that space and then determine, okay, I want to go off and do it on my own?
Yeah, no, great questions here, Craig. I, you're absolutely right that that initial spot that I had was in a variety of different roles within, Caterpillar's treasury, and then Cat Financial, which is headquartered here in Nashville, and the reason that I moved down here. Um, we had a lot of just requirement to dig into these spreadsheets and really understand, and we were here at a time when, during that financial crisis, there were a lot of problems that popped up, and I think that was true of, probably, I'm sure, a lot of corporations, large, small, or anywhere in between. And so my team and I had to come up with creative solutions to try and figure out, okay, how are we going to manage this and keep, in this case, certain rating agencies and so other things, keep everybody happy. Um, and so it was just kind of a natural way that I found my way over to a sales role, because that's just kind of how some of these big companies operate. And at Cat, you kind of do the job the best you can, and until you're tapped on the shoulder and asked to move somewhere else, and you go and do that. So I got into a couple of customer facing sales roles, and really found that I loved that, and that I was doing the same thing that I had been doing from these kind of large numbered big spreadsheet, try to figure out how to make great things for the company, to instead working with a small business owner and sitting down at his kitchen table and saying, okay, you love this business. How can we help you get through this period of time, so that your 17-year-old son, who is waiting in the wings to take it over here in a few years, how can we get it so that it's in a good shape to hand it off to him? And it was things like that really just kind of drew me in and helped me decide that I really have a love of what I'm doing here, and kind of pointed me toward it being my place to shine. And
Mm.
so after quite a bit of time with Cat, I kind of decided I really wanted to focus in on this space, and it's a little bit harder to do there, given that there's really only one salesperson in the area. You really have to go to your geography. And again, going back to Nashville and not wanting to leave, I said, okay, how can I get the best of both worlds? And so I ended up, working for a couple of different banks, and while those experiences were phenomenal, and I was able to do a lot of the things I wanted to do, I really couldn't do everything I needed to do or felt like I needed to do for the clients and customers that I serve. And really, it was within the last few months that I came to an understanding that I knew that I could do this in a way that could better serve them while, allowing me to kind of mastermind what should be done, and how to create those solutions for them. And so that's kind of the kind of how it led to where I am right now, which is just taking the skills that I've had and, kind of focusing in on just a, laser focus on customer service, taking care of people, and just following through and getting deals done for the folks that need it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Then did let's see. Can you share with me maybe an example, or tell me, how were you restricted in your previous role from providing a solution to a client that you knew wasn't the best, or wasn't the best fit? What restricted you? Was it company guidelines? I mean, because I'm sure companies have laser focus on who it is they want to serve.
Yeah.
Is there risk involved? Was there too much risk for the company to take, or just shed some light on that?
Yeah. Yeah, it's good one, Craig. It's a bit of a combination of any and all of those things.
Mhm.
I like to think of it as, every lender has what I kind of consider as a box, right? They have a certain type of equipment or collateral that they're looking for. They have a certain type of borrower that they're looking for. They have certain products, whether it's loans, leases, or just they kind of just have they know where they want to be. And a lot of them are phenomenal at what they do. But what few of them do, and I found this even through researching a number of different companies that I was looking at joining prior to making this leap, and I just couldn't find one that really did everything. And I, take it to just figure, why not? If I'm going to do this, let's be able to do everything, right? And so I just have kind of cultivated a network of people that I use as, my direct underwriters that help make these possibilities come together. And to me, that's where the fun really comes in, because it's just sitting down and really working with the client to understand what is it that you are looking for. And sometimes the answer is apparent and they know it and they can articulate it. And other times you just have to keep digging until you find, you kind of get through all the symptoms and you come to the underlying issue that they're facing, and then you can really dig in and solve what that is.
And so issues they are facing, in your case, are they strictly financial related? Are they, what issues might you come across that you?
It's a good question. I mean, the ones that I'm accustomed to seeing have traditionally, and been more on the financial side, but they're linked to other things as well, right? I mean, there's
Mhm.
I've got companies who are struggling to get their accounts receivable in. And
Mhm.
so it's a collection issue. And so is it, do you bring in an outside firm to help with those things? Do you, just hire somebody to start banging on the phones and getting the money in? How can you manage this? And we've got accounts receivable factoring we can do. We can actually look at your AR and help you monetize that in a way that is, gets you access to cash. Because, ultimately that's the crux of what a lot of folks are facing now is just these short-term cash crunches. It's the trying to grow in an environment where it's tough to grow right now with costs rising so significantly that hit the trucking world here as of late. I mean, COVID really was a whipsaw for them, when between lack of inventory and everybody wanting to allow them to finance, to all of a sudden the industry's in turmoil because there's an oversupply of inventory, and since rates are down, they're having a harder time getting the loans that they need to kind of improve their fleet and grow their fleet and so forth. So it's just really trying to dig in and understand what it is that they need, and then helping them find that solution.
Yeah. And so, of course, the last couple of years with interest rates being so high and now finally coming down, I can't imagine that being anything but good for the business environment, and maybe freeing you up to offer more solutions. But it sounds like you do more than just help somebody with their financial needs or, with borrowing. You kind of get in and look at, look under the covers and see what kind
Yeah.
of challenges they are, even managing their own cash, for example.
Yeah. No, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's more than just to, come on over here and tell me what loan you need for this specific thing. I want to best understand, you know, how you operate, how you manage your portfolio of debt, because a lot of the customers I work with have large fleets of a variety of different types of equipment, whether it's construction, dirt moving type equipment, or it's taking big rocks and crushing them and moving them into smaller rocks and putting them into concrete, or a variety of the trucks, for instance. Just so many different things. But either way, these are capital intensive fleets that are required a lot of upkeep, and there's a high cost to them. And so having just small adjustments to these large pieces, it can move the needle pretty significantly for some of these customers, especially the smaller ones who are in a position where they want to grow. They're doing good work, but they need access to the capital, and it's been a little tight. Banks have been tight. It's kind of dried up a little bit. I think there's a lot of uneasiness relative to the future, with the election coming up in a couple of months, and just the general economy, where is it going to land softly, or are we all going to be kind of in for a wild ride here in the next few months, and so many unknowns that I think the customers I'm working with, again, they want to grow, and it isn't always easy to do so. So a lot of times I'll be looking in areas where someone can't find an easy way to get their financing, and so they turn to me and say, I just don't know where to go. Help me find something, and that's what I do. I step in and make that connection, and that's where, again, that's kind of what makes it so enjoyable for me, is to kind of come up with that solution, whatever it may be. Some are simple, some are a lot more complex, and but all of them, it's fun to have that when the light bulb finally goes and we see it come together, is a great moment.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, because managing your finances and your debt, that kind of a critical part to to medium and larger businesses, and of course, smaller businesses, just keeping your eyes on your accounts receivable is sometimes a
Yeah.
challenge for the small business owners, right?
Right.
But so
Yeah.
go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, I think that that treasury experience that I had really helps in those cases too, because I have a really good understanding of, when I was in treasury. To give you that understanding, I mean, we had I think it was like a $30 billion portfolio at the time, and when I say that, these are money that we have to get in the door to then turn around and lend out to various people around the country, various companies around the country who are borrowing to buy Caterpillar bulldozers and excavators and all the other things that they sell. And and I was in charge of, providing the ideas to, in some cases, help understand, okay, how do we bring, in some cases, hundreds of millions of dollars of debt in the door, so that we can keep that cash machine moving and pushing through to the folks that need it. And I think having that background and seeing almost behind the curtain on how those things operate in a large institution has really given me good experience to see some opportunities in some of these smaller arenas that I tend to play in now.
Yeah, yeah. So tell me, Rob, it's only been Clarity Capital's only been, you guys have only been in business a short period of time here, right? So it's not
Yeah.
been it's not been too long ago that you held a full-time job and then took a leap of faith out in, on into your own
Yeah,
space here.
yeah.
That's walk us through maybe the feelings or the emotions and the final decision
Ooh,
to do
okay.
it.
I will. It's not easy. It's not easy. I think that's the biggest challenge, I would say. One of the questions I was trying to think about in preparation for our conversation today is, what was the hardest thing? And you're talking about it right there. It's that leap. It's that,
Mhm.
it's a lot different to think about it, to dream about it, to, just kind of have high level ideas about what things might look like. And, that's easy to do. It's, making the leap and getting rid of all of the corporate benefits that I'd come to take for granted after 20 years or so in that world. Health insurance is one of them that comes to mind. I've got you know five others in my household that are dependent upon these things, and I just want to
Mhm.
make sure that I take care of them. So it's been a lot of kind of figure it out type moments. Things like getting websites together and making sure I've got the entities structured properly and my tax, I've just had to look at a lot of things in a different manner than I've had to before. But thankfully, I think I've got the background for it. I've always enjoyed business. I've always, kind of been drawn to it. And, I think having all that experience, again, that's where I go back to saying what I said earlier. I don't think I could have done this at a different time. I don't think that, while I wish I would have, you know, done it at an earlier age, to have more time in this space. I just believe that it was now was the right time given the experience and the clientele and the network and everything that I've been able to build over these past couple decades.
Yeah, that's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. But the leap of faith is it, and it's a hard one, and we are, it's there are good days and tough days, no doubt. I mean, there are days when things are coming together, and then all of a sudden they don't, and you've got to pivot and figure out another plan, and it's like that with any business. I know, and it's just a matter of managing that, and I've got a very supportive family at home, and we've been able to navigate so far what any of the turmoil we've come across. And then again, it's been a phenomenal and rewarding experience even in this short period of time. And I'm looking forward to a nice long run of good things happening for myself, for the company, and for the folks that I help along the way, the clients that I serve.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, well, starting out on your own, one way or another, is a huge mindset thing, right? And
Yeah.
there is an emotional swing there that kind of feels all or nothing, and kind of
Yeah.
finding ways to keep it steady. It's
Hmm.
not things aren't never
Absolutely.
as bad. Things aren't never as bad as as they seem to be, and things aren't never really as good as
Yeah.
as they are. But
Yeah, the highs are high and the lows can be low. Absolutely. But yeah, you're right. I liken it to, poker to, where I've got all the chips and I pushed them all on the table. I'm all in on myself here. We're going to make this work. And again, it's working with the great people that I've gotten to know over the years, and being able to deliver on the promises that I'm making, which is what's making it so rewarding so far.
yeah. So, is it just you? Have you hired any help yet? Staff?
So I'm working. For the most part, it's just me. I don't have anybody on W-2 on the payroll. I've got some consultants out there. I guess they're more like contract workers, some 1099s that I have for various things. I've got a crew of I guess I'd call them experts in areas that I'm not, tax and legal and so forth, just to manage everything. My daughter's going to run off, and the oldest one here is going to run off and start studying marketing next year. And I thought it'd be neat to get her some experience. And so I've, kind of brought her on as an intern for my social media work there, which she tends to excel is much more significantly than I do in that space. And so I've asked her to jump in and help kind of get the name out there, get the brand out there, and so that's but no, I have aspirations to to grow, but I want to do it wisely. I don't want to grow too quickly. I don't want to, bring people on that then I have to turn around if things, slow down because of the cyclicality and just the general choppiness of the work that I'm in. So yeah, so it's me, just cranking away all the time, trying to make it happen. Thankfully I've got a beautiful office here in my home that I'm able to work out of and kind of close out the outside world and focus in on the business, and that's been extraordinarily helpful. And it's so far it's been a great ride.
Yeah, awesome. So how are you getting leads? You've got it sounds like you have a pretty strong network of of people that you've done business with before. I'm sure that's
Yeah,
providing you with a lot of leads. Are you
yeah.
chasing down new ones?
Yeah, I'm chasing down some new ones. A little bit of everything, really. LinkedIn has become really a great networking tool, an ability. It's I jokingly call it the Facebook of business. It's
Hmm.
everybody's on it. Everybody, is putting stories out there and is using it. So it's just a matter of making some of these connections. Sometimes people I've worked with years ago that I haven't talked to in a long time, or other times it's people that I've worked with in previous roles. They would send me deals to work with. They would send me work, and I'd get that done for them. I say, hey, I can do the same thing here, only more, basically. So it's still, I'm still very much in the kind of launch element of it,
Hmm.
in the sense that there are a lot of people who probably still don't even know that I'm off doing this, and so it's just a
Hmm.
matter of reaching out, calling people, and getting them to think of me, because ultimately, again, I can do anything, but I look at it like this. If you're using a golf analogy here, if you're got a lot of deals that are just going down the middle of the fairway, it feels like most of the folks are kind of out there chasing those. And so it's the ones that may go off in the rough a little bit, or kind of at the edge of the trees there, that are a little bit harder. They might have a little bit of a challenge in their credit. They might have, something just might be a little different about the transaction they're trying to put together that just doesn't make it click really easily for them. And that's where I like to step in and kind of run to the rescue, save the day, and bring the solution to them that they need.
Mhm. Yeah, and so does that require um, any extra due diligence or risk management on your part? Um,
Yeah, yeah. There are some. I mean, it's it's interesting how many things are out there. I mean, there are deals out there that really shouldn't be done, and so if I come across something like that, what I never want to do is put someone in a position to they have a high likelihood of failure, right? You got
mhm,
small businesses and they just want to, hey, I want to go, I'm a new landscape guy and I need to go out and get some really big equipment to make this come together. And if you don't have the cash flow for it, or if you don't have the ability to get yourself, get your loans paid back, it can really come back to hurt you. And that's when bankruptcy happens and other really awful things that force you to close your doors, or you know all sorts of collateral damage from those types of situations. So I always want to make sure that the folks that I'm working with, I'm taking care of their long-term needs first, and making sure that that whatever we do here in the short term, in the present, is is going to benefit them ultimately. It won't hurt them to the point where they're going to you know face catastrophic failure potentially.
right. And then, Rob, your business is primarily targeted to businesses
Yes,
and
sir.
business
That's right.
owners, right? Right. So
That's
there's
right.
no individual type of financing that you would do. It's not like
Right.
you're right. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's I've always kind of had the focus on business. I think business debt and personal debt, well, they kind of seem like they could be the same thing. I think they're drastically different. I think personal debt, you've got guys like Dave Ramsey making a living off of talking about that,
Mhm.
so there's no need for me to chime in. But you've also, from the business side of things, I imagine it probably feels the same way. However, I think debt on the business side of things can really help you grow your business if you do it right, if you do it well. If you bring on an asset that is going to make you, call it just round numbers, $20,000 a month, and it's only costing you, $10,000 a month. Well, that extra 10,000 that you're taking in revenue, that as your gross profit there, really should be able to help fund your business and help you grow. And if you're doing it in a way that it isn't doing that, well, then we need to change. You need to back up and do things differently, because that's really one of the better ways to grow. I know you kind of mentioned that earlier in using, whether you're out buying new companies or expanding somehow, a lot of times it's growth is tied to, debt and taking some of those leaps of faith in even in the business space there, where you got to go out and, okay, I'm going to go take on this. A lot of guys I work with, they got to go buy a piece of machinery that's $750,000, and they're going to have to go figure out how to pay for that over, fairly short period of time, 5, 6, 7 years sometimes. And those are things you just want to make sure that you got the business set up for it. You've got the long-term vision that you're going to be able to pay that thing off in that amount of time or sooner, and help you get onto your next one so you can continue to grow your business. That's my real focus, is really just trying to help people grow, and provide them with the solution that they need to do so in a safe and proper manner.
So after you make a deal, is there ongoing interaction with your clients to
Yeah.
check in on them and see how things are going? And
Yeah, I usually a couple of things. I want to check in to just kind of see in general how they're doing, making sure that everything's going well. Again, if anybody gets themselves into a trouble situation, I want to at least be able to talk through. I might be able to, help them reverse some things or change course, things like that. But ultimately, I just again want to just make sure that everybody's doing well. I helped a big concrete construction company out of state this summer, and really kind of right when I was first starting, and just trying to get them to a point where they were really trying to grow big. And so now I'm kind of following up with them regularly to make sure, okay, is the revenue that you thought you were going to get with these new units, is that happening? And just making sure that they're in good order. But yeah, I tend to follow up with customers that I've known for years, and just to check in, see how things are going. If nothing else, it's a nice little touch point to say hello to somebody that I hadn't seen in a while.
yeah, right. So it's safe to say you're in the commercial lending space. Is that
Yeah.
accurate?
Yeah, I'd say that. I think that's a perfect way to describe it. Absolutely.
Yeah. And so I guess, well, so the growth of that market, do you see it growing or shrinking or staying the same? Is it all economy dependent? What do you
Wow,
see? Where do you see your industry going?
that's a good question. I think there's a lot of room to grow in this industry specifically. When I think about what we need from our country, there are a lot of things. I don't want to get off topic, but one of the things that come to mind is infrastructure, right? You think about our roads, our bridges, um, you know, the systems that drive our water, all the electricity, the grid, all these different things. They all require infrastructure, and these are big components that require big machines to bring the products in and put them in place and so forth. So I think that there's always room to grow in this space, and I think you can grow. I think you can go about it a couple of different ways, but I think if you're out there and you're taking care of your customers, you're following through on what you said, you're giving them what they need, and then some. I think that that's just a place to help get you to a stable point where you can really, the message will get out there, the word will get out that you're doing great things. You helped a certain, company or person through something. And then, next thing you know, the phone starts ringing, and you've got others calling you up asking for help on their specific issues. So tons of room to grow in this industry. And I really enjoy the financing part of it too. I've always enjoyed, kind of been drawn to kind of what that, how to help make these things come together and get the information in the right place so that the people can get the things that they need and get the work done.
Yeah, that's great. I have a degree in accounting.
Okay.
along with a degree in electrical engineering. I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up, and I still don't know what I want. So I settled on coaching, which is probably the most fun. But yeah, I've always been impressed with, honestly, people who work in the finance space because you know I don't know. There are some very creative ones,
Hmm.
people
Hmm.
who know a lot and know how to package things together, from a
Hmm.
financial perspective. And I don't know, just always been impressed with with the finance space. I think I would have enjoyed studying that maybe a little bit more and
Yeah.
learning. So I have a lot of appreciation for what you're doing and the solutions you're providing to the
Oh, thanks. And you too. That's we wouldn't, these companies, they need accountants, they need good CPAs, making sure that all the numbers are in the books the right way, and everybody's being, true and honest in what they're reporting. And we need that industry. So it's a good kind of way to work together, a good good synergy that we can offer.
Yeah, right, right. Well, so Rob, thanks for being on the podcast here. It's been a pleasure having you on. I want to finish up with a couple of questions here as it relates to some information maybe that you've relied on, a book maybe that
Oh
you
yeah.
read, maybe a book that you read some time ago that you've continued to rely upon to now, or maybe one that you've read recently that you find impressive, or maybe both.
Yeah. Well, it's a great question, Craig. I love reading, and I actually really enjoy reading, for different types of business books and ways that you can improve. And sometimes I find that just comes in other places too. One of the books that I read a long time ago that comes to mind is Shoe Dog. It's a story about Phil Knight and Nike.
Oh, yeah.
It's fascinating because we can stand here right now, and gosh, I don't even, it's probably almost about 50 years later, and look and see, okay, well, Nike's this ubiquitous brand. It's everywhere. It's global. It's got these big names like Michael Jordan and all these things, but this was all a vision from some guy who just decided that he thought he could do it better and wanted to go off and make a better shoe. And he just started making it come together. And to see that tenacity, you can find it also in guys like Bezos, who was Amazon. It's just having that kind of focused determination to see your goal and to just not stop until you get there. I mean, that works for so many things in life. And one of my sons are playing football. It's like, okay, that's the same thing. You just get out there and you just keep driving and driving and driving and do whatever it is. It's studying, for tests and grades and so forth. Just keep getting those reps and keep getting that practice in. And I think that's a really inspiring book. Yeah, it's a fun read too. I've actually just started one that I'm really enjoying right now, and it's called The E-Myth.
Oh, yeah.
And it's,
Mhm.
yeah, and I think it's kind of like the number one. It's like you almost have to be an entrepreneur, read that when you kind of take this entrepreneurial leap. And I think it's what Michael Gerber, I think, is the author of that book. And that to me is very eye-opening. It makes a great deal of sense. And the businesses he's speaking to in some ways are going to be different, the brick and mortar retail and so forth, which there are some differences in what I'm doing here. But in so many ways, he's talking about how you have to have this kind of consistent approach. You have to think about it from a business standpoint as opposed to yourself. And, how can the business be run almost by itself in a sense with supervision and overview from the owner and others. And that's a great way of thinking about it. And I just, I'm going to learn more and more as I take that on and I think put those things into practice. I'm already starting to do so at this point.
Yeah, yeah. So the E-Myth is kind of a cornerstone
Yeah.
for small businesses, and shedding a light on the fact that there's the role of, and you're playing all three of them right now.
Yeah.
There's the role of the owner, there's the role
Hmm.
of the manager, and then there's the role of the technician. And each one of them are very important. And a lot of people come into business on their own, and they're really good at the technician and don't even realize that there's other roles they need to be even aware of,
Yeah,
much less
exactly.
filling, So
Exactly. Yeah. No,
Uh,
that's so true, and it is. It is playing a lot of different roles in this space right now. It's it's fun. It's a little daunting. It's a little chaotic at times. I try to keep it all together here, but it does feel like herding cats from time to time, and it's just bringing it all together and doing, like you said, just taking those different views of how you're going to run this business so that you can really make sure that it's going in the right direction and it is solidly run, and you can have fun with it and own the business rather than it owning you, which can happen in a lot of cases if you find yourself as the only person is willing to do anything. Then you find yourself in a problem sometimes because you're the only one that's working. So
yeah, yeah. Well, you know what? We try to make business owners aware, that their time is extremely valuable.
yes,
Uh,
absolutely, absolutely.
and, you have to understand that, what's the saying? Saving a wage will cost you a fortune. Uh,
Yeah, there you
you
go.
know, and
Yeah.
some folks don't realize that, other people are more adept to do the types of things that you think you're the only one who can do. Uh,
Hmm.
and it all goes back to mindset and
Yeah.
teaching, and laying out a different mindset for folks. But
Yeah, and bringing in professionals to help when you need it. A little quick little example. I thought, well, I know I can build a website. That can't be too complicated, right? And tried to put something together, and oh my gosh, it looked like my little kid tried to do it. I said, no, 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 I'm gonna get this right. So I actually hired a local team here in town, and they've been doing a phenomenal job, and they're almost done putting it all together. And it's just little things like that where you just want to make sure you're getting the right person to step in and help. And that's kind of, again, the role that I hope to play for these folks that I'm working with now, or will work with in the future. So.
yeah, fantastic. And speaking of websites, so your website is www.clarity,
Yeah,
Clarity
clarity
Capital.
claritycapital.us, and
Dot US.
give it right now. There's a splash page, they call it, on there, which just kind of gives you a little teaser as to what's coming. And I think within the next week or two, we're going to be live, and using that more as just kind of a validation point where somebody can look and see that we've got the history there. We've got the answer some questions for them. There's a form that they'll be able to send some information directly to us so that we can take a look and see if we can't help there. But yeah, it's claritycapital.us, and would love to help out anyone that's interested in helping out. Would at least love to have a talk with them and see if there isn't something that we could do. Otherwise, it's pointing them to someone else or some other solution that they might need. But this has been fun, Craig. I appreciate you having me on the program, and really enjoyed connecting with you here, and looking forward to whatever comes of this whole thing. I'll keep you posted on how things are progressing, but so far it's been a phenomenal experience.
Yeah, well, Rob, I'm happy for you, man. I'm excited for you. It is an awesome journey that you're on, and I can't do anything but wish you the best of luck.
Well, thank you, Craig. I appreciate that.
All right.
Same to you.
All right. Thank you so much. All
Thank
right.
you.
We'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for joining.